So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me truly a great pleasure to welcome you and address you at this very important conference. So looking back at the last 5 years of the SmartMobil conference, we could recognize that during this half of decade, the landscape has changed rapidly and immensely. One of the triggers beyond this change is technology. Broadly speaking, it is the digitalization that have changed the way of innovation itself and made easier and cheaper to measure, easier and cheaper to share knowledge, and easier and cheaper to experiment. It made easier and cheaper experiment not just in scientific field, but with new products and new business models too. By definition, capitalism is a decentralized system of trial and error. And digitalization have turned this system of trial and error into a global game and everyday experience worldwide. Application economy is the best example for it. Growing from literally nothing after the launch of iPhone and Apple Store in 2008, today employs in the EU nearly 2 million people and will employ 5 million in 5 years' time in 2018. The revenues from the application economy in the EU will be 3 times higher in 2018 than it is today. That means more than 60 billion euro. Currently, 40% of the revenues of global application economy and market are at the European companies. This is a not fully acknowledged and hidden story and history in the midst of the European crisis. And Hungarian companies, large and startups and developers, want to be part of this success as well. I've got often the question how realistic the ambitious goal is set by the Budapest Hub Working Group that the Hungarian capital should be and could be by the end of this decade the ultimate startup center of Central and Eastern Europe. Definitely, there is a huge work to be done. Many elements are missing and must put in place. We are, however, on the right track to build these steps and to build this ecosystem step by step. This year's steps are, first, the Incubator Link program to connect Hungary's promising startups with the leading innovation centers in the world. The second program will be the so-called Open and Living Labs program to connect large companies with startups. The third program will be the spin-off program to facilitate university spin-outs. And the fourth is the Gazelle 2.0 program to foster incubators and accelerators in Hungary. These programs are in the schedule of the government and will be launched shortly. We Hungarians think of ourselves as smart and talented. We are proud of our scientific achievements and our ability to innovate. But we must learn that although individual achievements and talents are the prerequisite for innovation, to make it happen is much more needed. What makes genius, once asked Thomas Edison, not only one of the most successful inventors in history, but also the founder of one of the largest technology companies of today, General Electric, and famously answered, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. It is the same with innovation. Innovation is a product of the ecosystem. Talent alone is not enough. We need a so-called Holy Trinity that comprises and combines its talent, technology, and territory. In other words, we have to build the ecosystem. At the SmartMobil 2014 conference, we have here experts from all over the world signalizing that mobile application economy and startups are part of a global game. Startups know from the very beginning, and this insight distinguishes startups from other entrepreneurs who start businesses, that they must be the best in the world if they want to succeed in the global market. This is why I use the term startups instead of some Hungarian words, let's say young entrepreneurs. Finally, I have to apologize for leaving quickly after this speech, but I have to go to the opening ceremony of the Várkert Bazaar, that means the renewed Royal Garden Pavilion, which was built in 1883. It was built in a time when Budapest itself was a start-up, and many parts of the Hungarian capital was built and created by businessmen, industrialists, inventors, and artists, sometimes all in one person, or as today we would say by startups. Thank you very much.